Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we'll cover some problems that we have of all the topics that we have covered so far. The topics about continuity and limits in continuity. Okay, so we'll try to do some problems over them before we move on to the next chapter. So if you haven't watched my previous videos on in the playlist, so please do check them out. All right, so let's go ahead and solve this. So here it says give the values. So the values here it basically means the x values. Okay, so like x values at which f is discontinuous. So here we basically have to write the points of x where the function is discontinuous. Okay, so here you guys see here this function is continuous at this particular point because there's a hole here. So at -3, at -2, at 0, and also at 1. Okay, so these are basically our points on -3, -2, -1, 0, and 1. Okay, so these are our point for the discontinuity. Now what is our second question? Second question basically asks us to give the interval over which f is continuous. Okay, so now we have to rewrite the function where it is continuous. Okay, so it's basically continuous over -3 and -2, but excluding -3 and -2. Okay, so then we'll have to exclude -3 and -2, and then we have to do is here you see it's basically like continuing from here, and then there's no gap, right? And then continuing from here as well. So it's like all the values are included from -2 to -1. Also like -2 to -1. So here you can basically go ahead and say that your another interval for continuity is -2 and -1. Okay, and next we have is -1 from -1 to 0. Okay, so from -1 to 0 then we have, and next we have is, what do we have next? So we have next is from 0 to 1. Okay, and our 0 was included, right? Yeah, so 0 is included, and then 1 is not included. There's a discontinuity over here. And the next interval, it's basically from 1 to 3. Okay, so then and our 1 is not included, and it's 3 is included. Okay, we don't have to like break it here because here at 2 it's continuous, so we simply like go all the way up to 3. Okay, so these are basically the first question. So now let's move on to the second one. Alright, so this is the second question that we have, where it says to find the numbers at which function is discontinuous. It is continuous from the left, the right, or neither. Okay, and these are the function that we are given over here. Check for -1. So if we go ahead and check for -1 first, so then first we have to plug in f of -1, right? So if we go ahead and plug in here x squared, right? So f of -1, so that would be -1 squared, and we get a +1, right? So we get +1 for this one. And now let's go ahead and now check for the limit, because remember in our previous videos I have explained you guys that for the function to be continuous, the limit and the function value itself, they have to match. So now we have the function value. Let's go ahead and check for limits if they exist or not. Okay, and whether it's equals to 1 or not. Okay, so now limit as x approaches -1 from the left. So if we go ahead and approach -1 from the left side, so from the left side that means like value is less than -1, so that would be this function. So again, that would be simply like plug this in, right? And that would simply give you +1. Okay, now if we go ahead and plug this limit in for the positive values. Okay, so now we are approaching -1 from the right side. Now because we have to approach it from the right side, so it has to be values greater than -1, right? So like above -1. So now we'll go ahead and choose this function. Okay, so now we'll have this function over here, and here since it's simply x, so then here it's gonna stay -1, right? And you guys see they do not match up at all. So like -1 is not equals to 1, and since the limit doesn't exist, and yeah, so like a limit doesn't exist, and there's no point in matching it to f of a. So then here we can basically conclude, therefore the function is discontinuous at x equals to -1. Okay, so we figured out the number at which the function is discontinuous, right? Now we have to figure out if the function is continuous from the left, right, or neither, right? And we just checked for -1, but we still have to check for 1 as well, right? Because we have two constraints over here, 1 and -1. Now let's go ahead and check for 1 now. So now if we go ahead and plug in f of 1,
what do we get? So f of 1 means the value of x is equals to 1, right? So here it says x is greater than equal to 1, so that means we have to check here x is equal to 1. It clearly says over here. So then our function that we'll use over here is basically 1 over x, so 1 over 1, so we get 1 for the value of in here. Now let's go ahead and check for limit as x approaches 1 from the right side. Okay, so if we go ahead and check for the right side, means values greater than 1. So values greater than 1 fall in here, right? So we'll go ahead and select this function. So here for the limit as x approaches 1 from the right, we have this function. So that would be 1 over 1, and we get a 1 over here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and find the limit as x approaches 1 from the left side. So now we have from the left side. So now from the left side means values below 1. Okay, so now since we have values below 1, so for this one we'll go ahead and select this function x over here, right? Because this would be like less than -1, but we just want below 1. Okay, so that means we have to select this function. Okay, so then here this one simply gives us 1. Okay, so now you guys see the limit as x approaches 1 basically equals to 1, and f of 1 was also equals to 1, and since these two match up, so we can basically conclude that the function is continuous at x equals to 1. Okay, which basically says to use continuity to end the limits. Okay, so for the first one, we basically have to do is that if you know it is a composite function, so like f of g of x, right? Because you have a function inside a function, right? So outside the function that you have over here is sine of x, right? And the inside function that you have is x plus sine of x, right? So you basically have a composite function, like one inside the other one. Okay, so now you're going to basically go ahead and write those individually. So the f function that you have, the outside function is ln of x, like I said, and the outside function that we have, it's basically x plus sine of x, right? And now we'll go ahead and evaluate where these two functions are basically, oh, why did I write sine of, that should be, sorry, that should be sine of x, not ln of x. Okay, so now we basically have to know that where all these functions exist, like the domain of them. Okay, so sine of x, you basically know that it exists, the domain is real number, so it exists everywhere, so it's continuous everywhere. Okay, so domain, and here for x plus sine of x, this is a x, right? So it is basically a graph like this. It exists everywhere, it's real, and sine of x, it's real as well. So real numbers plus real numbers, so the graph becomes real number as well, right? So then here the domain for both of them is real number. So then we can basically conclude that here if g of x is continuous and f of x is continuous over real numbers, then f of g of x is continuous over real as well, right? So I hope you guys are getting the point, that since this function is continuous over the domain, and here the g of x is also continuous, and when we combine them, so then their result become also continuous, right? And since their result become continuous, so now we can basically go ahead and plug our limit in. Okay, so now we can basically go ahead and plug in, so limit as x approaches pi of f of g of x, so which is basically going to be our question that we had, which was what? Sine of, inside sine we have to put pi plus sine pi. Okay, sine pi, so then if you go ahead and evaluate this sine pi, and then sine pi, that is 0, and this is evaluated to 0 as well, so you get 0 as your final answer. Now for the second one is limit. So okay, so for question B, we have this function over here. So the outside function that we have is ln of x, and the inside function that we have is this quotient over here. Okay, so the outside function that we have is ln x, right? And then the inside function that we have is x squared minus 1 over x minus 1. Okay, so we have this, and what about the domain of this one? So the graph for this one looks like this, right? So where it crosses like at 1 0, right? So then the domain of this one is basically from 0 to positive infinity, right? Because it's like an asymptote at 0, so like it's never touching it, but the domain exists, right? So it's like the 0 itself, it doesn't exist, but so like excluding 0, so it's from 0 to infinity but excluding 0. Okay, now for here the defining the domain is pretty easy. You can pretty much see that you cannot divide by x equals to 1, right? I mean, like if you plug in x equals to 1, so you get a division by 0, right? So that's why here you can basically say like that here the domain is basically, so you can say continuous on real except for x equals to -1. And in math notation we basically write it like continuous on real, and we write like except like this. So yeah, so now once you have this the domain of these two, now let's go ahead and evaluate the limit. So if we go ahead and evaluate the limit as x approaches 1 of this function, so first of all we have to know that this is a difference of square, right? So x minus 1, it's basically like a squared negative b squared, which is equals to a minus b a plus b. So here you have this in this form. So let's go ahead and split this up, so we get this. And now at the bottom we had x minus 1 already, so these two cancel out, we're left with x plus 1. So now if we go ahead and put our limit in, we get 2 for this one. So now what we can say that here, so f of x equals to ln of x is continuous at x equals to 2, and limit as x approaches 1